Have you ever sent a text message, and then spent the next 3 hours dissecting every possible meaning behind a single haha, or the fact that they used a period instead of an exclamation mark? Have you ever replayed a 30-second conversation in your head for 3 straight days, trying to figure out if they leaned in because they like you, or because the music was loud? If that sounds familiar, you're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. You might just be someone who overanalyzes love. And today, we're going deep into the psychology behind why some of us do this, what it really costs us, and most importantly, how to stop spiraling without losing your ability to care deeply. Let's start with the obvious question. Why do some people turn love into a forensic investigation while others seem to just enjoy it? It usually starts way before the first date. Most chronic overanalyzers of love share a few core psychological traits and early experiences. The first one is an anxious attachment style. If you grew up with caregivers who were inconsistent, loving one day, distant or critical the next, your young brain learned a survival rule: I have to stay hypervigilant about people's moods and signals, because love can disappear at any moment. That vigilance saved you as a child. It helped you predict when mom was about to snap or when dad was finally in a good mood. But in adult romantic relationships, that same radar turns into a torture device. You're no longer scanning for danger. You're scanning for proof that the person you love is about to leave. A 2019 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that anxiously attached individuals show heightened activity in the anterior cingulate cortex and the amygdala when thinking about relationship threats, even imagined ones. In plain English, your brain literally lights up like you're in physical danger when he takes 2 hours to reply. But attachment style is only half the story. The second big driver is something psychologists call high rejection sensitivity. People with high rejection sensitivity don't just fear rejection, they expect it. They read neutral cues as negative ones. A cancelled plan isn't "they're tired," it's "they're losing interest." A slightly dry text isn't "they're busy," it's the beginning of the end. Rejection-sensitive people often grew up in environments where love felt conditional: good grades equals affection, mistakes equals withdrawal of love. So as adults, they become emotional accountants, constantly calculating how much love they have in the bank and panicking at the slightest withdrawal. The third piece: perfectionism, specifically what researchers call maladaptive perfectionism concerned with mistakes and doubts. Perfectionists in love don't just want a great relationship. They want a flawless one with zero uncertainty. And since relationships are made of two messy humans, the only way to reduce uncertainty is to analyze everything to death. So now we have the perfect storm. Anxious attachment plus rejection sensitivity plus perfectionism equals a mind that treats every relationship like a crime scene that needs solving. But here's where it gets darker. Overanalyzing doesn't just exhaust you. It actively pushes love away. There's a term in psychology called the self-fulfilling prophecy. When you constantly expect abandonment, you start behaving in ways that make it more likely. You text too much. You ask for reassurance too often. You get quiet and distant when you're scared, which reads as disinterest. You accuse them of things they haven't done yet. And slowly, the very thing you feared starts happening. They pull away. And your brain says, "See? I knew it. I was right to worry." It's a vicious cycle. And the tragedy is, most of the time, the danger was never real to begin with. So what does overanalyzing actually look like in everyday life? Let me paint you a picture most of you will recognize instantly. You meet someone amazing. The chemistry is electric. First few dates are perfect. And then, the spiral begins. Phase 1. The golden period. Everything they do is magic. You save their Instagram stories. You replay their voice notes. You tell your friends, "I think this could really be something." Phase 2. The first crack. They take 4 hours to reply instead of 30 minutes. Your stomach drops. You check if they're active on WhatsApp. They are. They just haven't opened your message. Immediate story creation. They're pulling away. They regret the last date. They met someone else. Phase 3. The investigation. You reread the entire chat history looking for signs. You analyze tone shifts. You ask your friends to weigh in on whether "I'm just really swamped today" actually means "I'm losing interest." You lie awake at 3 a.m. wondering if you came on too strong when you said you missed them. Phase 4. The tests. You start doing things, consciously or not, to test their feelings. You take longer to reply. You drop hints about being busy with other people. You say things like, "No pressure, just checking in," when you're actually screaming inside. Phase 5. The relationship autopsy. If things end, or even if they don't, you perform a full emotional autopsy. Where did I go wrong? Was it the joke I made on date 3? Should I have played it cooler? If I'd just waited another day to text. And the worst part? You turn the knife yourself. You decide you're unlovable. That you're too much. That no one will ever handle your intensity. Sound familiar? Here's the truth most overanalyzers don't want to hear. The problem was never your depth. It was your inability to tolerate uncertainty. Love is uncertain. People are unpredictable. Feelings fluctuate. Someone can love you deeply and still need space sometimes. They can be crazy about you and still have a bad day and sound flat in a text. Healthy love requires the ability to sit with "I don't know" without rushing to the worst conclusion. So how do you break the cycle? Let me give you 7 practical, research-backed strategies that actually work. I've used every single one with clients and on myself. Name the spiral out loud the moment you notice you're ruminating. Say, out loud if possible, "I'm in an overanalysis spiral right now." Naming it activates the prefrontal cortex and reduces activity in the amygdala. It's like hitting the emergency brake on a runaway train. Use the 48-hour rule unless someone has given you a concrete reason to distrust them, like lying or consistent flakiness. Commit to not making meaning out of anything until at least 48 hours have passed. Most signs they're losing interest disappear on their own when you stop feeding them with attention. Reality check with evidence. Keep a note in your phone called "Evidence They Like Me." Every time they do something affectionate, even small, log it. When the spiral hits, force yourself to read the entire list before you're allowed to conclude they don't care. This is called cognitive reappraisal, and it's one of the most effective tools in CBT. Schedule your worry. This sounds ridiculous, but it works. Give yourself 15 minutes a day, and only 15 minutes, to overanalyze. Set a timer. When it goes off, you have to stop. Your brain learns that worry has a container, so it doesn't need to leak into every moment. Practice tolerating uncertainty on purpose. Start small. Send a risky text, "I really like spending time with you," and then don't check your phone for 2 hours. Go on a date and don't ask any reassurance-seeking questions. Each time you survive the discomfort, you're rewiring your brain to understand that uncertainty is not equal to danger. Stop treating thoughts as facts. Just because you think "they're going to leave me" doesn't make it true. Thoughts are not evidence. They're just brain noise, especially when you're anxious. Start labeling them. That's an anxious thought, not a fact. Get your needs met outside the relationship. One reason we overanalyze is because we've made this one person the container for all our emotional needs. Build a life so full, friends, hobbies, purpose, self-care, that no single text message can make or break your day. And finally, the deepest work, healing the original wound. For most overanalyzers, the fear isn't really about this specific person. It's about being left the way you were left, emotionally or physically, as a child. Therapies like EMDR, internal family systems, or schema therapy can be life-changing for this. But even without therapy, you can start parenting your inner child. When the spiral hits, imagine little you, the one who learned love wasn't safe. Put your hand on your chest and say, "I've got you now. You're safe. I'm not going to abandon you the way they did." It sounds cheesy. It works. Here's what I want you to take away today. Overanalyzing love isn't a moral failing. It's a protection strategy that made sense once. But it's outlived its purpose. You deserve to love without turning your heart into a courtroom. You deserve to be loved by someone who chooses you every day, and to believe it when they show you. And you deserve to keep your beautiful, deep, intense heart, without letting it destroy you. The next time you feel the spiral coming, pause. Breathe. Remember, the fact that you care this much is proof of how much love you're capable of giving. Don't let fear steal that from you. You don't have to figure it all out today. You just have to choose, in this one moment, to trust yourself, them, the process, a little bit more than you did yesterday. And little by little, the the spiraling stops. Not because love becomes certain, but because you finally become strong enough to live inside the uncertainty without losing yourself. Soft music swells. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What's one situation you tend to overanalyze the most? Double texts, tone of voice, future plans. I read every single comment. And if you want more scripts like this on attachment, dating psychology, and healing, hit subscribe. I release a new deep dive psychology video every week. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of that beautiful heart of yours. I'll see you in the next one.